Hey everyone, I'm Melanie from Streamlined Legal, where we help law firms get the most out of their practice management software. Tonight we are talking about tasks in Clio Grow. Now, if you have watched any of my videos before, you've probably heard me talk about tasks in Clio Manage. And specifically, the task list feature is one of my favorite features within Clio Manage. However, a lot of you are out there using Clio Grow, or maybe you have Clio Grow and you're using it a little bit. But most people don't know about the task feature in Clio Grow. And I think one of the main reasons is because they don't necessarily call it tasks. There is a task feature. We will look at it tonight. But I want to just point out the fact that there may be features within these softwares that you're not using. And so hopefully that's why you're here, is to learn more about them. So within Clio Grow, there is a task feature that we're going to take a look at. It does work differently than the Clio Manage feature, and they even have different labels for it that we'll see in a minute here. So it's not surprising that maybe you hadn't seen it in the past or didn't realize it was there. But I want to show you because I do think that's very helpful. Here's the thing. Let's look at Clio Grow real quick for a second while I share my screen here. When we log into Clio Grow, if we come over to our pipeline, I know a lot of firms that are just looking at this pipeline and really constantly just going through it and looking at all the different matters and do we need to, follow up with people and what comes next on this one. And I'll tell you, that's got to be exhausting. And I mean, at a certain point, that's also just not logistically possible, right? I mean, you could be looking at every matter every day and you wouldn't even get to them all in a day in some cases, right? Depending on your volume. So it's really not the most effective way to go about this. Now, of course, we do like the idea of having these columns for the big picture view, but when it's time to follow up with Doogie Howser or it's time to call Angelina Jolie and follow up, we may or may not catch it that day, right? And so instead of only relying upon these columns and on the pipeline, I would highly recommend that you use this task feature. So let's take a look at how it works. If I click on Doogie Howser's matter here, I can see when in this section right here where it says add a single item, I can create a task, right? And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on the button to create a task. I'm going to type in what the description is. Call and see if he would like to schedule, sorry about that. Let's see if we can spell it properly. Schedule a consultation. Okay, so that's the task. I'm going to assign it to myself. Maybe I could assign it to a team member depending on the situation. Let's go ahead and assign it to myself right now today, right? I don't want to forget to do that. Keep in mind, different than Clio Manage, Clio Grow does allow you to set a time for what time you want to do this task. So for example, I could set it for tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Just be careful. Those tasks can be synced onto your Clio Manage calendar. And if you're also using any type of scheduling tool, it's going to see you're busy for that 5 minutes to do that task, right? And so just make sure that that scheduling or that task on your calendar is not interfering with any scheduling tools that you might be using, right? You can also turn off that sync, by the way. So I'm going to go ahead and create my task. It's going to be due today. I don't need a reminder, frankly. I'm going to go ahead and add that task right there. The reason I don't need the reminder, by the way, is because number one, it's going to show up in my matter right here, right? And it's a pending task. It's got a date and a time on it in which I'm supposed to do it. But of course, like we talked about a minute ago, I don't have the time to go through every single matter in my Grow pipeline every day or even every couple of days necessarily, right? So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my agenda. Now, for those of you that are used to using task lists or tasks in Clio Manage, this is where we find our task list, okay? So I click an agenda and it's going to show me all of my tasks that are assigned for today, right? And that's the default for today. Now, of course, I can come find my upcoming tasks or my past due tasks as well, but today I'm going to look at today's tasks, right? And there, sure enough, shows up my task for Doogie Howser to call and see if he'd like to schedule a consultation. It's already showing up in red, by the way, because I did make it due at 9:47. Currently it's 9:49 Central Time, so that's why it's past due, even though obviously it's still June 18th. And so in order to complete this task, we have some options, by the way, here. I can click on view, I can delete the task. If I click on the matter, I'm going to see the task right there in the matter. I can go ahead, give him a call, talk to him. Maybe he sets the appointment, so I don't need this task anymore. I can go ahead and just check it off, and that'll be marked as complete. and that's it. I'm done, right? But keep in mind, much like my tasks within Clio Manage, I do want to make sure that I always have a task for an upcoming something to happen on this matter. Because if I don't have an upcoming task, I have nothing to remind me to follow up with someone, make sure we got a document, make sure we got something scheduled. There's no follow up. I basically have to, again, review every case within the pipeline, which again is not very sustainable. So do use these tasks. This is what I would call a one-off task, right? I don't have a whole list of them. I don't have anything like that. I just have a task to remind me to follow up or talk to someone or get something or do something on this file so that, again, it doesn't just fall through the cracks and I'm not looking at it a month later when I get to it and saying, oh, shoot, I wish we'd followed up with that person. So again, the tasks within Clio Grow are found within the matter. We click on here to create a task. And then in order to find our tasks across all of our matters on any given day, I'm going to click on my agenda right here so that I can see those tasks. Now, of course, it's not showing up anymore because I checked it off as complete, right? But I've got plenty of past due tasks I can go dig it on. So make sure, by the way, we do also have this no due date, right? These are the things that didn't have a due date. And maybe I want to follow up on those as well, because if it didn't have a due date, it may overlook it. So on occasion, maybe once a week or so, I do recommend you check the tab that says no due date to make sure we haven't missed anything. But most of the time, you're going to be looking at today's agenda. So I do recommend the use of the Clio Grow tasks. I do think that will help push these matters forward, again, without you having to review every column in the pipeline with any regularity. So thanks for joining me tonight. Have you used the Clio Grow tasks? If so, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you're looking for more ways to get more out of Clio Manage or Clio Grow, check out Streamlined Legal Plus, our subscription service that will give you just all those tips that you're looking for. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Have a great evening.